Hi, hello everyone. So we're going to have a look today at networks. So this is the very first of a number of videos on networks, but the first thing we're going to look at today is LAN versus WAN and how performance of a network is affected by different factors. Okay, so when you connect one device to another, you're creating what's called a network. So listen, one device to another device, that's a network. Okay, so networks allow devices to share information and resources. And we're going to look at two of the most popular networks. The first one we're going to look at is a local area network. Okay, or LAN, henceforth known as a LAN. Okay, so LANs tend to cover small areas, relatively speaking. Okay, usually a single site. Or it could be a group of sites, but within a single organization. That makes sense to you, like campuses of a college or something like that. Okay, all the hardware on the LAN is owned by the organization using it. Okay, simple as that. Next thing, you can LAN can be wired or wireless. Doesn't make a difference which, but it could be either. Okay, and you'll often find them in businesses, houses, schools, unis, that type of thing. Okay, so there's the main kind of places, things to do with LAN. Okay, so what then is a WAN? A wide area network. Okay, or WAN. Right, well, a WAN connects LANs. So it connects LANs that are in different places. For example, a business with offices in 3 different countries would need a WAN for their devices to connect. Okay, unlike LANs, organizations will have a third party to run the connections. Because WANs are way more expensive. So for example, I don't own the fiber optic cable that leaves my house and travels across the Atlantic Ocean to America to a server. I don't, I've hired, rented space on that through my, company, the company I'm with, whatever, Air or Virgin or whoever the hell you're with. So there's your third party comes into play. Okay. Many WANs, so WANs tend to use copper, fiber optic, satellite, telephone, or radio, 4G, 5G type of stuff to do what they need to do. Okay, so that's the kind of difference really between the two. Okay, and I suppose the internet is the biggest WAN on the planet. So if you need an example of a WAN, the internet. Okay, so there is the difference between your WANs and your LANs. It's not an amazing difference, but it is a difference. Okay. So I suppose why use a LAN when a WAN? Okay. Well, what's the benefit of LANs? Okay. The benefit of a LAN is obviously sharing files. You don't have to physically carry the files. Okay. You can share hardware like printers. One printer for the whole company rather than a separate printer for everything. One internet connection rather than each individual thing having to have its own dedicated internet connection. You have one for the company, and then it's just different spurs off that. Makes it a lot more. It's easier to install and update all the computers at once. Okay, cheap communication. And you can have users accounts, and we'll have a look at this when we're looking at different configurations. The user accounts can be centrally stored so that you log in from any device on the network to the network, that type of thing. It's quite easy. There's a lot of important things for that to be at work. Okay, so please know the difference between a LAN and a WAN. And some of the benefits of the LAN. The LAN and the WAN aren't competing with each other. The WAN is just a kind of a globalized version of lots of LANs talking to each other. So the LAN itself, there's benefits to it. There's no disadvantages compared to using a WAN, because a WAN is just a collection of LANs. Okay, so let's have a look at performance. What actually causes trouble when you're on a network? The first thing, obviously, is bandwidth. Okay, and bandwidth is the amount of data that can be transferred in a given second. For example, 500, megabytes per second. There's a speed. Okay, the greater the bandwidth, the better the network can perform. Okay, so then you have what's called contention, which is too many using the bandwidth at the same time. Okay. So, if you have too many people streaming the same movie, if you don't have enough servers to kind of, you will end up with contention on the line. And, you tend to find the internet goes slow in a lot of places at a certain time of the day when everyone comes home, kind of between 5 and 7 or 8, when they come home in the evening. Okay. Wired is faster than wireless in general. Now, I'm saying this in general. Obviously, within that, there's, 4G is definitely faster than copper, and 5G is faster than 4G, but nothing's, at the end of the day, nothing's going to be faster than, fiber optic, that type of way. Okay. And, fiber optic will always be, even if you go to 20G, nothing's going to be faster than light. And fiber optic is the speed of light, basically. So nothing's going to be faster than it. Okay. Other thing that can affect it is going to be the network topology and the hardware. And what I mean by the hardware are things like the NICs, the switches, the routers, the CAT cables, all that type of stuff. But we look at that in another video. The network topology, again, we look at that in another video. That's the different type. That's the star topology, that type of thing. Those type of ones. Peer-to-peer, client-to-server. So all those different things will come into play. And when we're talking about wireless or Wi-Fi, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how, the frequencies that you use can themselves determine it. So all these things will come into play when you look at the performance of a network. Okay, so it's just a quick introduction to networks. So you really have LAN, know what it is, know the advantages of it, know what a WAN is in when you take a LAN, how does it become a WAN? And then what's the performance issues? And we look at all of them as we go over the next couple of videos. Thank you very much. Goodbye.